Good day everybody. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and to like this video. Today we're going to talk about Richard Branson. I believe most of you are familiar with him, if not all of you. So Sir Richard Branson was born in 1950 in London, England as Richard Charles Nicholson Branson. His net worth is approximately $4 billion. So let's look at a few interesting stories taken from his autobiography, #1 bestseller, Losing My Virginity by Richard Branson. So it's important to remember that he is dyslexic. So because of this, one can imagine that he had difficulty studying, even at school level, and it was in a time that most people weren't even aware of something called dyslexia. Subsequently didn't have the opportunity to go to college. So one can see that this was definitely a problem for him, and one might even say this is a disadvantage. But anyway, so in 1970, at the young age of 16, he started with his first business venture. And he started this with a friend, and they started a magazine called The Student. So even at this young age, we can see his amazing business-centric mind at work. So in an effort to gain exposure for their magazine, they sent an invite to the Sunday Telegraph. And the Sunday Telegraph sent a reporter to their office. They concocted a very clever plan. So while Richard was conducting the interview, his friend would call every so often under the disguise of being somebody famous. Some of the so-called famous people that would call Ted Heath, he was a British politician, David Bailey, very famous English fashion photographer and director, and Mick Jagger, the lead singer for the Rolling Stones. So yes, the reporter left the interview very impressed with young Branson, and this definitely gave the magazine a boost. Unfortunately, the Student had to close down because they struggled to secure advertisers. So let's look at his business philosophy. Even though I'm often asked to define my business philosophy, I generally won't do so because I don't believe it can be taught as if it were a recipe. There aren't ingredients and techniques that will guarantee success. Parameters exist that, if followed, will ensure business can continue, but you cannot clearly define our business success and bottle it as you would a perfume. It's not that simple. To be successful, you have to be out there. You have to hit the ground running, and if you have a good team around you, more than your fair share of luck, you might make something happen. But you certainly can't guarantee it just by following somebody else's formula. Probably the biggest takeaway from his life in general is the fact that he didn't come without his fair share of problems. So the biggest reason for his success came from the fact that he was able to persevere, and he reached these heights with his fair share of problems. He is famously quoted by saying, "The easiest way to become a millionaire is to take $1 billion and purchase an airline." Also very important to stress the following. His biggest breakthrough came when he identified a gap in the market, and that was for the recording and signing of musicians. And we know this is a constant battle that we see today in the music industry. A lot of musicians claim that they have difficulty the deals they've signed with these labels. So this is just something interesting to note. That is a problem. We know that a lot of musicians are struggling when they had to sign a music contract, and in many cases they ended up losing a lot of money, or they didn't really make a lot of money because of the very nature how the contract is structured. Is all in favor of the label company, and a lot of the musicians had to learn this on the hard way. A lot of musicians fell unfortunately in the trap of just signing a contract without reading it properly or without the help of a lawyer, and this is also a rule for all of us that we need to be very careful when we sign something. Thank you for listening. I think we can all learn a lot from somebody as dynamic as Richard Branson. We also read a lot about his good relationship with his employees and customers in general. He is not only focused on money but also on the person. Thank you for listening and enjoy your day.